the results were amazing. It was so beneficial on so many different levels. And we wanted both those nervous systems competing with each other, and that's what creates a healthy nervous system.
Welcome to Swift Coaches Academy, a podcast dedicated to bringing health and wellness professionals the uncensored truth behind what it really takes to succeed in the health industry with me, your host, Xenia Wood. As an accredited exercise physiologist and business owner for almost a decade, I'm on a mission to transform the lives of ambitious health professionals like you who want more and are ready to take action to create incredible impact in your careers and unlock financial freedom in your business. So join me as I speak candidly with industry leaders about the struggles and successes from within the trenches through thought-provoking conversations. Ryan McCathie, how are you?
I'm very well, thanks, Xenia. How are you going?
Good. I'm excited to have you on today because outside of all of the incredible stuff you do with your own exercise physiology clinic, we sort of spoke about your interest in heart rate variability and how we can use that better as exercise professionals in terms of objective measures. So I'm keen to dive into that with you today. But before we do that, can I just get a little background on who you are, how you started, why EP, and where the clinic and you are at the moment?
Awesome. Can definitely do. Before I start, big fan of yourself and everything you do for the industry as well. So seeing you popping up everywhere on social media at the moment. So all that hustle's working because you're everywhere on my feeds on all.
Thank you.
But great stuff. Excellent. So where it all started for me. So always wanted to be an EP. I think remember I was about 7 years old and my dad sprained his ankle and I had some strapping tape and I was trying to strap his ankle, did a terrible job, but I just had this intrinsic need to try and help people. And so figured out the pathway was exercise physiology, then exercise science, then into EP. And once I graduated there, it was high school, straight into undergrad, straight into postgrad. I needed a break. So moved to London with my partner and actually got a job over there as an exercise physiologist in a children's hospital. So I was working in the largest children's hospital in Europe, and that's Great Ormond Street Children's Hospital in London. And I worked on the cystic fibrosis ward, working with children with cystic fibrosis. And it was a great job. I got to take them to the gym every day. And the thing about children with cystic fibrosis is they can't be in the same room as another child with cystic fibrosis. Otherwise, they'll get the same germs. So I had to individually take them to the gym. Children from the age of 3 all the way up to sort of 18 years of age, and taking them across to a really amazing facility. And that was a great experience working there for 2 years within a team of, I think it was 46 physios and 1 EP. So I learned a lot from that. And it was a great experience. So then after there for 2 years, I came back to Newcastle, where I've grown up, and got a job with a large sort of national EP company, sort of doing some mobile remote work in the workers' comp space. Learned a fair bit from there, but after a year or so, that entrepreneurial itch came about where I was like, I can do this. I can do this myself. And with the motivation from my partner, and she said, go for it. And then started the clinic in 2017, I believe it was. And it just skyrocketed from there. Within 2 or 3 years, I had a team of about 5 or 6 EPs. And we've just continually grown now to a point where we've got a team of, we've got 14 on the team now.
Wow. Congrats. That's huge.
So it's been going really well. And it's credit to my team now. And now I'm focusing on making sure the team members are as fulfilled and happy as possible in their careers. So it's a different role for me at the moment, but it's been a big learning curve. So
totally.
Here I am.
And I hear that there was a EP of the year thrown in there too, 2018, if I'm correct.
2018 EP of the year. That was I was very lucky to get that award. That was the award night up in Brisbane. That was based on a few grants that I was able to get. So on the back of my experience with cystic fibrosis in London, I came back and there was some grants available here in Newcastle, and I got to go to a pitch night, which was a really cool experience. It's innovative. They'd never done it before, where there was 150 people in the room, and they all had $1,000 check on their chair, and 4 people had to pitch, and then there was 4 buckets at the front of the stage, and they got to put their $1,000 check in a bucket.
Wow.
And out of that, I got $49,000 from that. So yeah, with that $49,000, I started a program for all the children in Newcastle with cystic fibrosis, and funded 12 weeks exercise programs for them. So just to build that healthy habits, educate the parents in terms of what exercises they can do. And yeah, I think that was probably one of the main reasons why I got EP of the Year from that. So it was a great springboard. Awesome. And that sort of allowed me to hire a few EPs as well. So that probably was the catalyst to growing. So little tip for any listeners out there, keep an eye out for grants that can help springboard you for sure.
Yeah, right. Cool. And then flipping to more of the clinical side of things, talk to me about heart rate variability and how firstly you sort of got involved in that space.
Yeah. So yeah, the story goes back to probably about 3 or 4 years ago. I do a lot of referrer meetings, and I was meeting with a psychiatrist. He's one of the leading psychiatrists here in Newcastle. And yeah, he came over to our clinic and just have a chat about our types of clients. We hadn't been receiving many referrals from psychiatrists, but we saw a huge opportunity for them to be engaging in exercise physiology, and he was open to it. And one of the questions he asked was, what objective measures do you have for your clients that you see with depression, anxiety, PTSD? And I said, we use the DAS-21, the K10. He said, okay. He goes, I use that as well, and so does the psychologist, and so does the GP. So if you're using as well, you're the 4th person using the exact same questionnaire. Do you think the patient would get a little bit sick of filling out that questionnaire each time going to see someone? I said, yeah, you're probably right. I said, we don't really know how else to measure their improvements psychologically. And he said, have you looked into heart rate variability? And I said, no, never heard of it. I said, tell me more about it. And he goes, I'll send you a few journal articles on it. Have a little read because it's really interesting, and it's something that I think you could utilize in your clinic. So went away, read these journal articles, became fascinated about it, started reading more and more about it, and then within a few weeks got the equipment to start implementing it into our business and into our practice with our clients. That we do a lot in the workers' comp space. So yeah, a lot of the psychological claims clients that we see. So yeah, a lot of injured police men and women come through our clinic, and we started implementing there, and yeah, the results were amazing. It was so beneficial on so many different levels.
So can we backtrack a second in terms of, let's clarify what HRV is for people who don't know. And then when you say measure it, like my understanding is that your HRV is, your range is unique to you and you can't really measure person to person. What's your understanding and experience with that?
Yeah. So I'll try and explain what heart rate variability is the best I can. So it is the time measured in between your heartbeats, plain and simple, the time measured between your heartbeats. And say, for example, if your heart beats every second, you've got a heart rate of 60 beats per minute. Your heart isn't beating every 1 second exactly. It might beat 0.9 seconds and then 1.1 and then 0.95 and it changes. And that's the sign of a healthy nervous system. You want it to be variable, because what that is your sympathetic nervous system, your fight or flight, and your parasympathetic nervous system, your rest and digest, competing with each other. And when they're both healthy and they're competing with each other, it creates the variance. And that is a healthy nervous system. What they've found is there's a direct correlation to those with depression, anxiety, and PTSD, is that they have a dominant sympathetic nervous system. And when you have a dominant sympathetic nervous system, it actually reduces the heart rate variability in terms of it pretty much is consistent every 1 second. So there's no variability. So basically, that's the best way to explain it. We want both those nervous systems competing with each other, and that's what creates a healthy nervous system. And basically the way that you measure it is for a minimum of 5 minutes. You'll be measuring, and it'll be measuring the time between every single heartbeat, and then create an average of that time And then there's a formula that goes with it where they get the square root of it and come up with a number based on, that 5 minutes worth of data.
Mm-hmm. And so measuring that in the clinic, do you have devices like, are you using Whoops or Oura Rings or anything like that? Or do you have watches that measure that? What do you do?
Yeah, so this what I looked into to begin with was like, what's the best practical way to measure this in a clinic? Gold standard is a 12-lead ECG. We don't have access to a 12-lead ECG, but then I wanted to see basically what is getting similar results and what all the different measuring techniques are out there. So the next best step is the polar chest strap. Mm-hmm. So we have the polar chest straps, and there's an app on your phone called Elite HRV, and that syncs with the polar chest strap. So with the journal articles, that's been shown to be just as accurate. And then below that, you've got finger devices as well, and then you've got the smartwatches and things like that as well. The finger devices and the smartwatches, we're close, but we're not quite there yet with the accuracy. I wouldn't recommend using those just yet to rely on this and to report on this number. But they've shown the polar chest strap is accurate enough to report these measures. But I'd give it a few more years, and then I believe the watches and the finger devices will be there in terms of accuracy.
And so then what's a good HRV? What's average? What are we aiming for?
Yeah, so there's norms for your age. So your heart rate variability decreases significantly as you get older. So there are different ranges for different age groups. So there is a bit of a graph, but if you're 20 years of age, you want to be between 50 and 100, and it's measured in milliseconds. So 50 and 100, but then it's there's sort of a line of best fit that goes down with age. So depending on how old you are, it'll slowly go down. So an ideal, most perfect heart rate variability is 100, but it's going to be pretty hard to get that if you're in your 40s or 50s. So anywhere sort of below 40 to 30 is indicative of potentially poor mental health.
And so some things that sort of I'm thinking based on this is, can I consciously impact my HRV in that 5-minute window by doing things like breath work or by doing really high intensity exercise? Like what are the things that are varying that? And so therefore, are we looking at HRV across ideally a full 24-hour period, or is it during exercise?
Yeah. So the key with anything, when we are measuring it, the variables need to be controlled. So the way that we measure it is, and the best way to measure it is first thing in the morning. And you need to be in a supine position. So 5 minutes minimum laying on your back, and measuring the same time each day. There's two different ways that we can do this with our clients. Either they have the device and they take it home and they measure every single morning, and it actually tracks it on a graph. Just once a day, or if they don't have the device, they come into our clinic and do it. So we might be getting 2 or 3 measures per week. And like all physiological change, like there is, roughly around that 12-week mark where we start to see the physiological change. So it is an instant, and it varies quite a lot as well. It does vary. So one day, it might be really high. You've had a great night's sleep. Your nutrition's on point. Your breath work's been great. You've had a great exercise session, and it's high. Next day, there's stresses. You had a terrible sleep, and it's low. So you'll see it go up and down. But the great thing about having sort of 3 months worth of data is we can see it sort of trending upwards, and that graph has been so beneficial to show our clients. Because it's the biggest motivator. Results is the biggest motivator, and we're showing them this now. There's an objective measure. We're saying, look at this is getting better, and they're like, I am feeling a bit better, and they can objectively see it. And then we show this to the GP as well, and then even the insurance company to get approval for continued sessions as well. So it's that graph has been really helpful for us.
That's awesome. And so in terms of statistically significant improvements over that 12-week period, what are you expecting to see? What's normal?
Yeah. So I think basically we just want to see that line trending upwards as an average. So depending on where they start, we've had whole different range of improvements from people that began at sort of 20 milliseconds and getting all the way up to 60, 80 milliseconds in terms of their heart rate variability. Ones with sort of 5 to 10 millisecond increases, but you're just looking for an increase in that. It's the same thing about, I don't know, weight loss, I guess. You go, what's statistically significant in weight loss? Like we just want to see improvement with them, and they'll have different goals as well. So it's, we just want to see that line trending upwards. And then usually as the line trends upwards, they've got the DAS21, the K10 that are improving at the same time as well. So that sort of complements it. And you're like, yeah, okay, psychologically, we're feeling better. Physiologically, the nervous systems are working. Because the whole reason why it is working is because exercise will actually get that parasympathetic nervous system activated again. Breath work, mindfulness, meditation as well. So they're the sort of three things that we're promoting to get that parasympathetic nervous system activated again. So that's what we're trying to do. That's the basis behind our treatment, and that's what actually creates that variability then. And there are times where there is no change in the heart rate variability because they're struggling and they need to it's not easy just to adopt an exercise routine. It's not easy to just be awesome at mindfulness and awesome at breath work. Like, people give up. It's challenging. So it's it is a challenge at the same time as well.
And so do you integrate, education and programs on mindfulness and breath work as well as the exercise programs that you provide? Hey coach, are you loving this episode? Because if so, I have some incredible news for you. We have our last round of our educational mentorship as you know it. So this is our incredible 12-month mentorship with me, where we go through everything from assessments, biomechanics, anatomy, training principles, and so much more. This is our most in-depth version of anything that we do education-wise, and this is the last time we are going to be running this as you know it. So we only have 12 spots left. And it starts on Monday, the 27th of November. We are taking interviews for this, interview only. And if you're interested in this, then click the link in the show notes, and I would love to jump on a call with you and see if this is right for you. Now back to the episode.
Yeah, 100%. I think just being we're not experts in that area, but as exercise physiologists, we are holistic, and we might see who they're working with, other allied health professionals in our local community, and help in that sense. If they're not working with anyone else, we recommend the Calm app and going through those guided meditations and trying to build a healthy habit, healthy routine for them. And guide them through that process to, I guess, build that habit is the biggest thing. So it definitely takes a bit of time. These people that are quite vulnerable, and a lot of them haven't really had a solid exercise routine in place. So you're sort of layering that approach in terms of, here's your exercises, here's what we're doing, here's what's meaningful to you, and then here's the app, and here's that. You don't want to overload them, so it's sort of layering that approach, and like I said, we're using that sort of 12-week framework to put all those measures in place, and then see how we're tracking it at the end of 12 weeks.
Awesome. That's awesome. I feel like there's so much in there that, hopefully, it's opened my eyes a lot, and hopefully some people listening as well. Outside of, getting some Polo devices and investing in those, and then trying to get patients to take them home and bring them back, and obviously that's probably a bit of logistics involved. Is there anything that's beneficial that you've found that could be a substitute, obviously not as great, but a substitute for HRV outside of those, the DAS and the other scorings?
I just want to touch back on that again, like logistics. The great reason why I implemented this is because it is easily scalable. So the Polo chest devices are $100, $120. So have them in your clinic. Get one or two of them in your clinic. Have them sitting there. They just sit there. They don't need any updating or anything. They can just sit there in your equipment box. Simple as that. The Elite Heart Rate Variability app, you can use the free version to get the results for it. And then the other thing with heart rate variability, you just need to make sure that you get a wet wipe and you're just wiping down their chest before they put it on, so it works better. And it's as simple as that. So ideally, if we were working in an insurance scheme, we may be requesting the insurance company to purchase one of these for them, so they've got one at home, and they can come in and show us the results. But with the majority of our clients, it's just they're using our one once they come in for their session. So they come in, we might go to a treatment room or maybe just on a treatment bed and start their session with putting the strap on 5 minutes and measuring that, and then getting into the warm up and into the session. So the reason why we implement that was so it is sort of logistically achievable. Is it too difficult to implement? And surprisingly enough, so every single client is open to it. Yeah, I'm open. What do I need to do? Yep. Okay, great. So they're open, that they're on board with it.
Awesome. Okay. Yeah, that's helpful. And so the Polar, I'm assuming you just go to their website, and then Elite HRV is the app that you're saying, the free version of that in the App Store, I would assume.
100%. Yeah, there's probably multiple ones out there. I'm just saying that's the one that we've used. We haven't even looked at any other ones yet, but it's very simple, very easy to use, and syncs with the Polar chest strap via Bluetooth. And you click one button, and it starts tracking it. There's all different research at the moment in terms of the time taken to measure it. So they're trying to show that you can potentially measure it in 10 seconds, 30 seconds, or 60 seconds. But like I said, still not the strongest evidence just yet. So the gold standard beforehand is minimum 5 minutes. So obviously the longer you measure it, the better accuracy you're going to have over that variability. But they're trying to see if they can measure it in shorter periods. But you'd want to probably stick with the 5 minutes, just with the literature that's out there at the moment.
Yeah. Okay. And then, so obviously there's a whole range of benefits to having a higher HRV. What are the key things that you've found with your clients that it seems to line up with, improved HRV is often tied to? Is it sleep? Is it, mental well-being? Is it exercise tolerance? What are some of those things that you kind of consistently get as feedback?
Yeah. So I'll just touch on as well. So I'm talking about this purely from a mental health space, but this is being used a lot in the elite athlete space as well. So this can 100% be used in healthy populations to determine their readiness to train as well. So by taking it in the morning, if your heart rate variability is terrible, I wouldn't be doing a high volume session. So you can use it in that sense as well. But like you mentioned, there's that whole range of benefits. But I think they said there's changes to the prefrontal cortex in terms of, your ability to regulate emotions, with higher heart rate variability. And, like I said, better sleep. I think, like I said, obviously better mental health, but I think your better ability to recover from sessions as well. Like I said, this is our nervous system. So it's measuring how good is our nervous system functioning. Our nervous system is so complex and so important, and so many, it has so many roles within our body. So it's, definitely multifaceted, all the benefits from it.
That's awesome. Are you currently only using it with your mental health clients, or have you trialed it with some of your healthy pops? I'm assuming you've chucked it on as well. Like, have you seen improvements in yourself? Do we cap out at a certain HRV?
We've only used it with our psychological clients so far, but the opportunities are endless in terms of who we can use it for. One of our team members just went, he took it down and went to the snow last weekend, and he's like, he played around with it and hadn't been to the snow for a very, very long time. And down in Thredbo, traffic was crazy. It was just really stressful. And he checked out his heart rate variability, and it was really, really low. The first day or two, he's like nervous, anxious, a lot of traffic. It was just driving 8 hours to get down to the snow. And then he said by the last day, it was extremely high. He said he was going down the runs, having so much fun, enjoying it. So it can change. Like I said, it does change from day to day. He's like, I was really curious to see how much it changed on those 3 or 4 days he was at the snow, based on his confidence levels and just how he was feeling mentally from it as well. And had a few good nights sleep leading up to it, and playing around with it that way. So in terms of the you don't want to go past exceeding 120 milliseconds, because what that is, that's an arrhythmia. You don't want your heart rate to be too irregular, and beating outside of that. So you want to keep it within that range. So too high of a heart rate variability is actually sinus arrhythmia, and you should probably get that checked out by a cardiologist.
Mm-hmm. And then too low, like obviously too low is where you've said that, mental health concerns often pop up and things like that. 20, is that sort of like the lowest you would see in someone who's really struggling?
Yeah. 20, 25 would be the lowest we've seen in that variability. Yeah, you're not going to get exactly like a watch every, no, you're not going to get a 0. There is going to be some variance, but the lowest ones we've seen are those with PTSD. So, and there is a lot of research that heart rate variability is lowest in those with PTSD, and they say that there is just a very, very strong dominance of their sympathetic nervous system. All those characteristics with the sympathetic nervous system are just on show with those with PTSD. The dilated pupils, the lack of appetite, the increased heart rates, the increased blood pressure, all those things that come with the sympathetic nervous system. In line with those with PTSD. So it really is about getting that parasympathetic nervous system activated and going.
Awesome. Is there anything that we've missed or haven't spoken about in terms of HRV that you'd like to sort of bring up?
No, I just wanted to keep it short, sharp and shiny today, and provide that education, because it might be light bulb moment for some people, just to start being innovative, start thinking outside the box, and there is such that lag between what's in the research to then actually putting it into practice. So, like I said, this is only maybe 4 or 5 years old, and they say it's roughly about 17 years is the lag between research and in practice. So I'm hopefully shortening that gap by providing this education, and give it a go. Give it a go on yourself. Get one of the chest straps, give it a go, play around with it. And the more objective tools we have under our belt, the better EPs we can be. The more motivated our clients can be, the better we can showcase our results and show it off to referrers and things like that as well. So there's no other health professions using this. So I want EPs to own the space, and potentially coordinate with cardiologists as well and say, hey, this is what we're doing as well. So want to promote that our profession and get us all showing that level of professionalism.
That's awesome. I think it's such a unique but clearly impactful measure that, like you said, really isn't being utilized very much at all in the health space. And I think maybe just on that, if I was a clinician being like, okay, maybe I'm going to invest a couple $100, get a couple of these devices, I think the next thing I'd be thinking is, maybe I don't necessarily, I'm not confident enough in my ability to explain it or whatnot to a GP or to a cardiologist. Do you have any resources, or do you have any, cheat sheets on things that you either tell clients or health professionals that you could either share with us or just give us a bit of insight into?
Yeah, 100%. There's about 2 or 3 links that I use all the time. And you can put them in the show notes if you like.
Perfect.
There's 2 or 3 links to some journal articles and some other information there that is some easy to read ones for ones who just want a quick 1-page overview of it, and then some more in-depth ones for other professionals that want to look into it a little bit more. But we find ourselves having to educate case managers and things like that on it a fair bit as well. So yes, I'll share those resources 100% with you.
That would be incredible. And I'm just thinking, even if the clinicians who are going, I'm going to use this, create their own little cheat sheet based off of that information as well, to be able to, put your branding on top of it and be able to provide that. I think it's a really innovative way that you've sort of, I guess, capitalized on and gone, we're going to own a little bit of this space, particularly for mental health. And has that seen a great uptake in terms of new referrers from other health professionals? Are they very excited by it and wanting to refer you more people because you have this objective data available?
Yeah, so I've done a few presentations for life insurance companies, and life insurance are a little bit different to workers' comp insurance, where I love working with life insurance because they are so open and holistic, and they're always looking for new things. They've got plenty of money and they want to invest it in the right things. So I've been invited to present there, and we've got several referrals from life insurance companies as a result. So it's I love working with those types of companies. So that's definitely been beneficial for us. And then in the meantime, I think it's quite difficult to educate workers' comp, work cover insurance companies about it, but we use it on our reports. So there'll be a table on the reports which justifies sort of approval for future sessions with them as well. So it definitely helps us ongoing because we've got something to measure to say, hey, they are benefiting from coming here. And but that would probably be the main two ones at the moment.
Which is always the challenge, right? It's like, we just beat our heads up against brick walls being like, exercise is always going to be beneficial, but like, okay, like let's figure out how we prove it, because we kind of have to, I guess, prove our case, particularly with these different government schemes or whatnot that are being quite selective with where their dollars go.
Yeah, 100%. And it is what it is. I guess there's huge turnover of staff within those companies as well. So there's always someone new that's been there for 3 months and they're 20 years old and they've got no health background and they honestly don't know that exercise can be beneficial. So you've got two ways to approach it. Just be super annoyed and frustrated and complain to everyone, or just be like, okay, I've got to educate you as well. And here we go. So here's my little cheat sheet and here's the information. And it is what it is at the moment.
Yeah. Cool. Thank you so much. I will make sure that we pop those links in the show notes. And also for anyone who doesn't know, Ryan has his own podcast called The Growth EP, right? Talk to us about what's going on over there.
Yeah, so it's the EP Growth podcast hosted by myself and our clinic manager here, Chris Goward, and been running for a bit over 18 months now. So we're up to episode 60. All things exercise physiology, but mainly a lot on the soft skills and the things you don't get taught at university. So every one of our episodes are things you have not been taught at university. That is really important in private practice. So jump on there if you want to learn some skills that you've probably never heard of at university or in high school before, and maybe not even learning in your own business at the moment. So that's what we focus on, and it's all about growing the profession, improving the professional and personal development of young EPs in the industry to ultimately grow the profession as a whole.
I love that. I actually did a seminar speech to QUT, so Queensland University of Technology, with the Spring Symposium, which is like a sports science symposium that they do annually. And I literally talked about soft skills and leading with confidence and communication skills. And I preaching to the choir in terms of the numerous benefits. There was one statistic that really stood out to me that said that 85% of the success of someone's job or career is based on their soft skills and only 15% based on their hard skills. So that to me is a huge leading factor that, that is where 85% of our PD should be going to, yet most people are spending their time, effort, and money on these hard skills. So the buy-in and the communication and things that come with those soft skills, I think, is hugely important. So I would absolutely recommend anyone who's looking to work on those or explore those, jump onto Ryan's podcast, the EP Growth Podcast. My apologies, not the other way around. And we will link all of that in the show notes as well. So jump there now, go click follow, and we will have to chat again more about maybe the soft skills next time.
I'd absolutely love to. Thanks for your time, Jenny.
Awesome. Amazing. Thanks, Ryan. See ya.
Bye-bye.
We have some crazy news. Our educational mentorship, as you know it, final intake is happening now. So if you are listening to this, then this is the time, and you've been thinking about maybe, reaching out or getting more support with your exercise education and feeling confident AF in your skills coach, then this is the time to listen up. We have an incredible 24 modules where we build unbreakable foundations, and then we program like a pro. And we have had people all the way from like day one PTs all the way through to exercise professionals and physios who've been in the industry for 10 years, and they've all taken so much away from this course. We've had them say things like it's really simplifying everything in a really like practical way. And we've had people say things like they're really understanding these complex concepts, they're implementing them. And so we go through things such as exercise prescription and programming. Yes, absolutely. But we dive into anatomy, biomechanics, the key movements, the training principles, and how to actually integrate these to get better results for your clients. And we have nothing off the table Q&A sessions. We have practicals where you actually go and apply this stuff, because most of the courses that I see out there are DIY tick and flick courses, and they don't actually give the opportunity to implement and then ask questions. So we do all of that, and we have assignments and exams. So that means that, yes, if you're wondering, it's eligible for CPD points so that you can claim this and you don't have to do those shitty courses that you don't like doing and spend your weekend doing them. This is in your own time, self-paced, and you have support for 12 whole months. Now, this is strictly by invite only. So I encourage you, if you're even just considering it, to apply. What will happen from there is you'll get a one-on-one call with me, and literally the worst thing that can happen is that you walk out of that session mapped out with your education pathway, and you have confidence and clarity on your next steps. There are only 15 spots available, and every time we've done this, we have actually sold out well before the date. So we are officially starting on November 27th, but the sooner you get in, the sooner you get access to the course, and you can get started ASAP. So you do have to book that call with me first, and the link will be down below in the show notes to do so. If this feels like something that you have been maybe sitting on or thinking about, now is the time. So please, I encourage you, if you're interested in it, just reach out. Literally going to potentially change the course of your career forever. So don't wait, go and do it right now. I will see you in the next episode. I have a tiny favor to ask of you, and that is to just hit that subscribe button if you have not done it yet. If you've made it this far, then I hope that this has been valuable for you and for us to get more incredible guests in front of your earlobes and faces. If you're watching us on YouTube, then please do that now. And if you have any feedback or suggestions for me, or something that was a golden nugget that really stood out to you in this episode, I would absolutely love if you flicked me a message over on Instagram at Xenia Wood Official. Until next episode, and in whatever you do, move swiftly.